Car Wizard, why in the world don't you give estimates? And also, we're going to do a shop update today for you guys. Let's answer that question. Let's get started.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving to you too, dear.
Well, I was just being silly, but yeah, it is Thanksgiving, isn't it?
It is.
And thinking about Thanksgiving, if you're thinking of gifts this season, with the holidays coming up, the next holiday that is, in the link below, Mrs. Wizard has a link for you guys to click on that takes her to her part works that are for sale. She does a batch of those ever so often, and she has a whole new batch ready for you guys, so make sure to check that out. Now we're going to answer the question why we don't give estimates, and also give you some instances here in the shop as we do a shop update of how I have rarely ever done an estimate for anyone that actually turned out to be accurate. It has nothing to do with trying to run the bill up or do anything like that. It's because sometimes even the customer doesn't know the whole story. And if you don't know the whole story, how can you give an accurate estimate, which means the estimate was a waste of time. Let's go ahead and get this Tahoe. It's an 09 up in the air. It came in just for a small differential leak. It was just going to be a little seal and be out the door. But it went downhill really fast. Let's get this thing in the air. So here we have, you can see the yoke is removed from the front of the differential. It was leaking pretty bad. You can see the stream, it was actually dripping and leaving a puddle. The customer was like, I think I just need a new seal. And by the way, the customer's been very nice. With any of these I'm showing you today, I've had no trouble with the customers at all. I'm just giving you some instances how an estimate gets blown out of the water and it makes the estimate useless. So we've got a new seal on, but we started looking at the yoke. And let me show you what we found. We got the yoke off, and Junior Mint's doing the job, and he brought it over to me. He said, Car Wizard, what the hell is all this? What is going on here? This little rubbery piece here, and it looks like a sleeve, what they call a speedy sleeve. Someone's put a sleeve on this, and they did a terrible job. You can also see a shiny ring right through here. There's a lip. Someone's had this on a lathe and turned it down, and they turned it down too much. Whenever I see something like this, like when Junior Mint showed me this, I knew immediately. Someone's already being in here, and it's about to get very interesting. We called the customer and we explained to them, like, are you aware of this? What's going on? What's the story? Was there damage? Did something happen? The customer said, I had no idea that even happened. How do you estimate this? You can't. Let me show you what a new one looks like, because we're going to have to buy a whole new yoke. I don't trust this. So here we have the two for comparison. One has this wonky sleeve on it with a rubber little umbrella or something. And this one over here has nothing. This is the way it's supposed to be, like this. So I have the old seal out of the differential, and it fits very, very loosely on here. No wonder it was leaking. We'll get the new seal, the new yoke put on, then it will finally stop leaking. But there's more to the story. After we revealed this information of what we found on this, the customer said, oh, he said, when I'm at 60 miles an hour, there's a very light whining noise from the rear end. If I let off the gas, the noise goes away. And I immediately said, someone else has been in here. They tightened the center nut on the pinion too tight, just a little bit too tight, and crushed the crush collar a little bit more, which sets the teeth gear lash. Now you have the noise. He's like, well, can we do something about that? You're going to have to pull the whole differential apart and put a new crush sleeve or a collar in there. Once you crush it too far, it's unusable. You can't put it back where it was. He said, just put the new seal on. I'll deal with the whine. Put the new yoke on. He's like, obviously the estimate you gave me isn't even applicable now, is it? I said, no, it is not. So that will solve this. We completely blew the estimate out of the water. And it was not the customer's fault, and it was not Omega's fault. It's just the way it turned out. Originally we quoted him a couple $100. but it's going to be double that now. Just the yoke itself is $150. And then we had to get another seal, obviously. And we're also going to put some different oil, put some BG additive. Maybe that might help with the little bit, tiny bit of whine that it has. He might get by for quite a while longer. But it doubled the estimate. So if you only had put away a couple $100 to do this job, and then you find out this information, which neither us or the customer knew, hopefully you have the extra money. Let's move on to the little MG. You guys have seen it in the background. Let's go talk about it. This is a 1972 MGB, or MGB as they're called. It's actually been here before. We did some minor work and got it running. The customer was very happy. And after that, they stored it for a while. I think in an aircraft hangar or something is what they mentioned. Rodents has gotten into the car and chewed up a lot of wires down to bare wire where wires were touching. And then the customer went to start it, it wouldn't start, and a lot of bad things happened. So let's take a look just how bad it is. Can you imagine, hey, my car won't start, can you get it to start? What's the estimate going to be? How do you even know? And then now we take a look at it. Let's show you what we found. So we found a couple wires in the engine bay that were shorted and melted. So I said, well, before we hook the battery up or do anything, we better do some digging, and I'm glad we did. We pulled the steering column clamshells off, and look what we found. This was on the verge of catching fire. I mean, it completely had a meltdown. This brown wire melted to the white wire. There's several other wires that are melted. Look at that, guys. There's some of the shielding to the wire. It's just crispy. There's bare wire there. Complete meltdown. And this harness goes all through the dash. Luckily in this case it's not a death sentence. We are going to have to pull the whole dash and get a further view of the extent of the damage. You saw there's been a major meltdown through the entire harness. Can you imagine if you'd given a $200 or $300 estimate to fix a few wires, or maybe you find out something's wrong, to turn out it's going to be $1,000, $2,000, who knows how expensive it's going to be. It's kind of a sad story, but the customer's very happy. He's like, I just want it fixed, whatever it costs. This is my favorite car, I love it, please take care of it. And we'll happily do that for them. This engine bay, luckily, is very simple. There's nothing complicated in it, and if there's some melted wires there, it'll be easy to fix. But there are some cars that a bad harness can be a death knell. It can ruin the car. We not too long ago had a Lotus Evora in the shop that have a common issue with the harness for the engine and transmission goes bad, and it'll drop out of gear. All kinds of bad things will happen. They got quoted at a Lotus dealership, full engine out was going to be $30,000 to pull the engine and do the whole harness. I think they spent $40 or $50 for the car. They're like, that's almost what I spent for the whole car. They were hoping for better news here. We found it was the same story. We could probably save them some money, but it was still going to be in the $20,000 range. And the customer was like, I don't even have $10,000. It's this car's done. All from wiring. Luckily, that's not going to be the case here. Again, it's a good reason why we don't do estimates. Let's move on to the Viper. In the old term, no good deed goes unpunished. And that is so true in this situation. We've done work on this Viper before, and customer is a very good customer, enjoy doing business with them. They're wanting to kind of restore this thing. They had the frame all powder coated or painted. They're getting the intake done. They had the valve covers done. And they asked, can you just put this stuff back together once the powder coating or the painting is done? Can you put it together for me? Sure, no problem. We put the valve covers on, got it running. Danielson got it all together. It was running fine, and all of a sudden, the exhaust just started pouring white smoke. I ran over, shut it off. And we turned it off. We thought maybe valve seals had gone bad. We didn't understand what had happened. And you guys know I used to own a Viper, and I've sold it since then. Got it all fixed up and sold it. But I remember from mine, inside the valve covers, there are PCV baffles. And they should be kind of open so oil can flow through them. Let me show you what we found. So it just came back from the paint shop or powder coating shop. They did great work on the logo and everything looks good. And then we installed them and had the trouble I just mentioned where this thing was burning oil like no tomorrow. Danielson was like, oh my God, what went wrong? What went wrong didn't happen here at Omega. Let me show you what they did when they powder coated this. Inside of here, there are these sheet metal baffles that you can unbolt them that go in to keep oil from splashing and getting into the PCV system. They are not, and let me repeat that, not supposed to be siliconed with silicone along this baffle here. Oil needs to be able to flow past those and back into the crankcase. So when this was happening, Danielson was kind of freaking out. He's like, what did I do wrong? I said, you didn't do anything wrong, Danielson. I said, take the oil cap off. I guarantee you it's full to its eyeballs of oil. Sure enough, he took the oil cap off and oil just poured out of this. He's like, how did that happen? I said, I know exactly how that happened. I said, pull the valve covers off. And he did, and that was what we found. So we'll need to remove those baffles, clean all the silicone off. But what it was doing is filling that entire chamber so full of oil that the PCV valve was sucking straight oil into the intake. Do not silicone the baffles in your Dodge Viper 1st Gen. Do not. It's a bad, bad, bad move. So we just gave you an estimate to do valve covers on this to install them, and now your price just doubled. It wasn't our fault. It wasn't your fault. How do you plan for this? How do you estimate this? You can't. So that's why we don't do estimates. Anyways, the customer is very understanding. He said, please take those off, do it right, put it back together. We'll have to get a second set of valve cover gaskets and do the same job over a second time with the addition of cleaning up those baffles. So once we get that done, this car is done. That's all it needed. It should be done and paid for and out of the shop by now. Unfortunately, we ran into that. Here's another issue with estimates. It came in with just a tick. This is Hoovy's Hellcat. What's it going to cost just to fix that little tick once we got it apart? We saw, if you saw the previous video we did on this, all the bearings, the cam, the crank, the main bearings were hammered to pieces. So Danielson's getting the engine back together and everything's going well, everything's going fine. We got new cams, we had cylinders, everything honed, the machine shop did their thing. We're going back together now and it'll be a nice, good running engine without the tick and without the hammered bearings this time around. Obviously this bill is going to be very expensive. Can you imagine thinking in your head, a couple grand and I'll be back in the game? $10,000 later. So it's kind of sad, but Hoovy understands. He says, let's fix it. The only thing we can do here is move forward, make this right, and make it a fun car. He's going to do a few things. You'll have to watch his channel for the updates on what all we're doing here. But another instance of how estimate meant absolutely nothing on this job. Here's another instance of how what initially hoped what the estimate would be was blown out of the water like an atomic bomb. Now, Eurasian Bob, this is his vehicle. He's totally understanding. He's cool. He's really one of my favorite customers. Here's the deal. We brought it in, you're like hoping, hey, maybe just some fresh fuel, a fuel pump, and we can get this thing back on the road. And you guys saw the video that we did on this recently. The entire fuel system from front to back was compromised, almost destroyed. Luckily, the injectors are fine. We were able to clear them up and get them working again. But it needs new fuel pump, new fuel filter, new fuel hoses, and the fuel tank is off to Kansas City now, being shipped to have fully restored. You guys saw also in that previous video, the entire inside of the tank had like a coating that was peeling and starting to come undone, and it was clogging the pickup screen. I have to have them get all that out, strip it down to bare metal, and put a brand new coating inside the tank. Can you imagine if you were quoted, maybe $400 or $500, you'll have your car going, and it's going to end up being probably $2 or $3 grand. Sometimes it can work the other way. We could have looked at this and said, oh, it needs the whole fuel system, and quoted them $5 grand. The injectors are fine. Some of the other things are fine. We're able to reuse them, and it wasn't even as expensive as we thought it would be. So we're doing a shop update today, and also kind of an explanation of how estimates can be wildly inaccurate, and how I have found them to be over the last few years completely useless. It kind of comes down to the fact if you're getting your car repaired, and this is probably good advice for anyone with any car, no matter if it's a $20 repair or a big repair, you need to have a few thousand aside for emergency repairs, because you just don't know what you're going to get into until you get the car into the shop. And just like we showed you today, it can snowball really, really fast. And again, if you're watching this when it first came out, happy Thanksgiving. And something you can be thankful for this Thanksgiving is you're not having to pay any of these repair bills on these cars. It's going to be very expensive. Not this one so much, but the other ones could be very expensive. So you're hanging out with friends, family, loved ones. Make sure to tell them you're thankful that you don't have Hoovie's repair bills this Thanksgiving. It's something very, very thankful to be thankful for. So we never have really done estimates because of what we've shown you today. We've proven that estimates really don't mean anything. And it can't help you budget because it may not even turn out to be that much. And Crazy D has fielded a lot of calls where people beg, I just don't understand why you don't do estimates. So we do give them a ballpark figure to kind of help out. And they just hang up. We never hear from them again. And we find out that they were just using us to get an idea of what their shop local to them should be charging for a certain job. And it's just a complete waste of time all the way around. Even if you go to the hospital looking to have a procedure done, I need an estimate. They don't know what they're going to find, and they're probably not going to give you an estimate. It's just kind of the way it is with any kind of a thing in life, whether it be car repairs or surgeries or getting your cell phone repaired or who knows what. Estimates really are never accurate. If you're curious what kind of tools we use to work on these cars in the shop, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We get a small cut and we really appreciate it. Also, don't forget to click the link in the description below. The part works Mrs. Wizard's got for sale. You can go check them out. Really great gift ideas for the holiday season. Make sure to hit the subscribe button here because we have many more cool videos to come. Thanks for watching.